Hello and welcome to another episode of the Calumet Wilderness with Sam Love. I am your host, Sam Love, and we are at the most wonderful, happiest place in Lake County, Indiana at the wonderful, most happiest time of the year, fair time. A couple years ago, I wrote my first article for Belt magazine about the Lake County Fair, how it's sort of a metaphor for life here in Lake County. And what I talked about is how I always like to start my day at the fair walking around Fancher Lake. And there is no body of water in this county that has more myths and legends and folk tales and just outright BS than Fancher Lake. So let's go check it out. I came across this hilarious 1975 article from the Times of Northwest Indiana talking to a Dr. John Dustman, who was the head of the medical department at IUN, and he believed some really silly things about this body of water, which if he had just talked to a geologist at IUN, probably could have got his head straight pretty quickly here. This article is hilarious. He believed that the lake was once a stone quarry. He believed that it may have been 300 to 400 feet deep. And he believed, like a lot of other people, including up into my lifetime, maybe there's still people now who believe that it's connected via underground passage to Cedar Lake. Well, friends, that's just not possible. Now, the idea of it being connected to Cedar Lake is pretty ridiculous. First of all, they're in totally different watersheds. Just a couple of miles south of here is the St. Laurentine Divide. So all the water where we're at here to the north goes to Lake Michigan. All the water to the south goes into the Mississippi River. And the thought of an underground cavern sort of transgressing that just seems a bit ridiculous to me. Also, the land down here, this is all moraine. This is all till that was dropped by the glaciers as they stopped and started receding and melting. So we're talking about sand and pebbles and gravel and yeah, there's a lot of clay down here, but that's not hard enough to make underground caverns through all of this. Now, any tunnel down here would simply collapse. So they're not connected. And it's not 300 feet deep either. So Fancher Lake is a kettle pond. What that means, it was a big chunk of ice that broke off when the glacier was melting and receding. It got stuck in place, surrounded by these uplands, which is all glacial till here. And then it melted in place. All that till in that ice caused the ground to sink, which is why kettle ponds are actually really deep. But 300 to 400 feet? No. So if you go to the Indiana DNR website, their bathymetry says 35 feet deep. And the thing about these kettle lakes is they actually fill up. They get shallower over time because you have so much sediment rushing into them, it starts to raise the bottom up. That's why this was always kind of a mucky lake that we never really wanted to go in much as kids. It's kind of smelly. Although they've been doing a lot of work on the edges, getting a natural restoration, and actually smells kind of good down there. It smells pretty clean, actually, but I'm not going to go in and find out. Yeah, we used to dare people to go in there as kids. We come down here and hang around and like, yeah, give you $5 to go in there. Ugh, no, you'd be dripping with all kinds of slimy, mucky stuff as you came out, and it took a number of baths to get that smell out. The kettle lakes tend to be really deep, and they tend to be clustered, so we don't really have too many in the Calumet region proper. I mean, we were more marshy and sandy than anything. But if you go out in LaPorte, around that area, you see a number of those lakes. North of Valparaiso, you got a number of those lakes. And if you go up into the western part of Lake County, Illinois, a number of kettle lakes up there as well. Now, we call it Fancher Lake. According to the official history of the Lake County Fair, which was published, I think, in 2002, this land was never owned by Fancher. Richard Fancher and his family were among the first white squatters to come out here. They didn't have legal claim to this area. They just squatted on it for a number of years until the land became legally available. And when that day came back in the mid-1830s, Richard did not end up getting this parcel of land. According to the official history, this body of water and the land around it was granted to a Potawatomi woman named Mrs. Guah. Did not pronounce that correctly, I'm sure. It's the best I can do. And Fancher again tried to make the claim, but the courts upheld Miss Guah's. She ended up selling the land a few years later, I think for about $800. Fancher once again tried to get the courts on his side, but failed. And the owner of the land then sold it to Lake County Agricultural Society, who've been running the fair here since the 1870s. Now, I looked on the 1874 Hardesty map, and it does list Fancher as the property owner here. And I've not been able to find any other records indicating land ownership that far back, so I've just got a bit of a history mystery there. But I still call it Fancher Lake. But I like to refer to this moraine rise beyond it as Miss Guah's Hill. And I would love it if you all started calling it the same.
Pony show at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 6:30 Farmville presents There's More Than Corn Growing in Indiana in the Flower Show Building. Swine racers will be running today at 1, 3, 5, and 7 p.m.
I don't think you could get in there. Oh, your tongue gets all the... Wow. Oh. This part of the grounds is called Carneyville. One guess as to why. No, we should not go on it. Well, my darling, what is your opinion of this year's fair?
This is a pretty good fair.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anyone like put up.
Our nephew's not here.
Right? It's not crowded.
No, it's not too bad. We're here a bit early.
The smells of, but the petting zoo was
Oh,
choice.
the petting zoo was phenomenal.
Love the petting zoo.
Yeah, and the Fancher Lake was great.
Yes, as always.
The food was good.
I had a falafel.
I had chicken, beans, and rice.
Typical fare for me.
Yeah, nah, I don't know, maybe. Nothing fried. Probably not going to do that today.
Because we're old.
Yeah. Well, another adventure done. This is what, our 9th fair together?
Yes,
And
9th fair.
Of course, we've been going to the fair since, we grew up out this way. But thank you for joining us today on another episode of the Calumet Wilderness. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Feel hot.